welcome back to More to Life. This is episode 3 of our Infertility Journey mini-series. And I have these two lovely ladies with me again on tonight. Welcome back, ladies. Good to have y'all. And we're going to be talking about tonight, they have compiled a list. They're between the two of them, their top 10 lists of what not to say. Several people have been asking for advice, like, could you please let me know? Because I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm one of those. I have my notebook, my pen, and I'm ready to take notes so I can apply this and share it with others. So we'll just jump right in. Whoever can start first. And if you have something to say, like expound on what you wrote, that's fine too. I'll let you all have the floor.
All right, I'll start with the first one because it kind of pertains to not only people who are struggling with infertility, but just couples in general. Something that was said to me was, what's taking you guys so long to have kids? Or why aren't you are y'all gonna have kids? Are y'all trying? Like, just people just asking, and you never know. Like, of course, the first time, after we got married, there was no issues with getting pregnant, but of course it ended in miscarriage. But other people, you don't know, they could be trying behind closed doors, struggling, having issues. They might not want kids. So it's just not really our place to ask that kind of information just because it's very personal. But I know a lot of people mean well because you're excited about, a couple getting married, they're newlyweds. You want to see them go through all those different phases in life, but it can be a touchy subject just because you don't know. So I would advise to stay away from that.
And a good clap back would be, when are you having kids?
Right. Frank would say,
I mean,
yikes.
And let it be 70-year-old sister so-and-so. I don't feel any kind of way about it.
But I would agree that is true for both those experiencing infertility or not. I remember being asked that question and kind of puts a little pressure, unneeded pressure. That is kind of what we've set up socially to be the next step. Some people don't want kids.
Yeah.
That's fine too. So I think it is just best just not to ask. All right, Tiffany.
All right, my first, I think it was one of the very first things that was said to me when I had my first loss. You're young, you can try again. That is just wrong on so many levels because kind of like, same as Chandler said, you don't know what's going on in a woman's body. It could just be, she could maybe try again, but it could be the same thing, or it could be, she found out you're not able to have kids. It could be so many other reasons. Just you're young. Young has nothing to do with the healthy uterus. Mm-hmm. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. And I will say, I used to be that person. I thought so, mm-hmm. But age has absolutely nothing to do with it. You can be 50 and have a healthy baby. Don't want to, but you can. Yeah. So,
and you can be 20 and have an unhealthy.
Exactly. So the you're young, you can try again thing, just don't.
All right, number 3.
My next one that I heard pretty often when I was having the miscarriages that were ending early, like in that 3 to 5 to 6 week phase, people would say to me, well, at least you didn't have to hold a baby or hear a heartbeat, or at least you didn't know the gender yet. Stuff like that. Like, you mean well, but it's horrible to say because you don't know. I mean, the only thing that a woman wants when she's going through pregnancy is to hold a baby, is to hear that heartbeat, is to know what she was having. And so regardless of how it ends, like, that's not okay to say. That's not comforting at all.
I could get with number 1 or 2.
With that.
I could see, people meaning well with 1 or 2. 3, yeah, okay. All right. But I guess people think that that's well-meaning. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Number 4. Uh-oh, Lord, I didn't punch my computer. Okay.
This, oh, because we got 10. I was like, wait, this is number 2 for me. Okay, I see what
Oh,
you're doing.
yeah,
I see what
sorry.
you're doing.
I'm making my list of, yeah, okay.
Chandler, don't laugh. It ain't funny. Okay. Number
Just
2,
divide each number by 2.
ma'am. I
Something like
talk
that.
English.
It's all right.
English. This one boils my blood because it always comes from church folk. God does not make mistakes.
Mm.
Listen, I know that, but let me tell you what women hear when you say God doesn't make mistakes. Girl, that was on purpose. That was supposed to happen. And that brings zero comfort. I don't know about you, Chandler, but that actually makes me angry.
Mhm.
God doesn't make mistakes. Just don't.
Yep.
What for the church people, and you might be addressing it in another one. What's a better way to say that? Because I think they think they're saying something because they know you're a person of faith and they know that God encourages you and comforts you. What's a better thing you think? Use a piece of scripture or like, is there a way to rephrase that?
I think what people are meaning is that, God doesn't forsake his children.
Okay.
Which I can receive that because that lets me know it's kind of acknowledging my situation in particular, but then it's also giving me hope for the future.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
When you just say God doesn't make mistakes, it's just, at 17 weeks having a connection to Jackson, you mean to tell me that I wasn't even supposed to know Jackson? Like that was, oops, that wasn't a thing. So I think, just to say, you're in my prayers, or God has not forsaken you. I know this is rough, this is hurtful. Acknowledge the feelings, acknowledge the situation, and say, listen, God didn't mean for this to break you. Because I think that's kind of what all of that means, but I could be wrong.
No, that's good, because that's giving you a hope for the future and what's to come, and it's going to encourage you to keep pushing forward versus just he makes some mistakes. That just like flatlines it, keeps it right there, only pertaining to what your current situation is. Yeah.
Yep.
Very good point. Okay, number 5.
All right. This one kind of piggybacks off of that a little bit. Maybe this is God's way of telling you now isn't a good time. And that is same thing like what Tiffany said. That's no hope for the future. It's like, okay, I did something. It's almost like, are you trying to say like I tried to like take things into my own hands and go against his will? Like, what were you trying to say when you said that? So yeah, I agree with Tiffany with just saying that a good way to rephrase that is God hasn't forsaken his children. That's more encouraging versus trying to tell me what his will was when you don't know.
No.
All right, number 6.
It's God's way of protecting you from a baby with birth defects. I'm gonna be honest. I know church folk gonna be watching this, but I'm just gonna be honest and tell you, I have wanted to punch people in the face to say that. Okay, I've never punched anybody in the face. I'm not violent. I have. Don't do that. Don't. I'm not violent. Okay, but when somebody tells you that, just sit in that for a minute. It's God's way of protecting you from a baby with birth defects.
To me, that affects not only those like you if somebody told you that. But it also, I think, is a slap in the face to those who are caring for children with,
Yes. 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 Yes.
I
Yes.
don't,
Yes.
so they
And
weren't
it makes it
supposed
seem
to
like,
make it?
yeah,
Like, I don't,
yeah.
okay.
And it makes it seem like God wasn't going to love that child because it had birth defects, or
Or
so he was
wouldn't
just
have
getting.
wanted that child if it did.
You
So
know,
let's just get rid of the problem for you.
Right.
I
No.
have friends, and I respect this, and kudos to their walk with God. I have friends that have requested through adoption, especially children who have birth defects. So I don't, that's a heavy one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow. Okay, number 7.
All right. This one I got often it was, well, y'all are young, you should be enjoying life anyways.
Give it to us, Chandler. Give it to us.
It's like, yes, I know this, and yes, we are enjoying newlywed life, but that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy life with a child. And again, it's all surrounded, and that's what we talked a little bit about this last week. I don't think people realize, and Taylor, you said this, with no matter how many weeks it is, it's a life. And I think people forget that. So it's like it's surrounded by a loss. Like, would you say that to somebody who lost a physical, like a grandparent or a mother or a sister, or like you wouldn't say those kind of things. So, but like this is a life that is surrounded. Everything we're saying is surrounding a loss. So it just some stuff you just don't say.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And like you said, who says life can only be enjoyable if you don't have kids as a newlywed?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm just looking back through this list, thinking about like the 80-year-old grandparent that's lost.
Yep, that's lost. Stop.
I mean, the loss, the not.
You said it. You didn't already say it.
Some 80-year-old grandparents do get lost, but I'm talking about death. That came out wrong.
Oh,
But I'm
my
thinking
bad.
about number 4, God does not make mistakes. That's something we often hear too with the loss of a adult,
Yeah.
but maybe that's not even the right thing to say then either.
I think that phrase should be taken out of, like, people say, let's normalize it. Let's normalize not saying that.
Yeah. It just doesn't give any hope.
Wow. Okay. Number 8.
When are you going to try again? Don't. And usually when this question was asked, it was, don't do it too soon. Too soon for who? You or me?
Hold on. This sounds twofold. Because you said the hopes that so I thought about this totally different. So they're saying don't do it too soon when it was asked. Okay. I thought they were just reverting back to like number 1, like what's taking y'all so long? But okay. I
only had one person to have a conversation with me like that. She was like, okay, when y'all trying again? Like, if you know that's what y'all want to do, go ahead and, keep trying. And it was probably about a month after I lost Camden. And she was dead set. If that's what you think, y'all know y'all want a family, try again. But most of the responses or most of the questions, when am I going to try again, was to deter me from trying too soon.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate right quick, because I have been in that situation where you feel like you are helping the person because you feel that you notice amongst that inner circle, like maybe like I feel like they might be having a spiral? Or how can I help? Because this might be a mental break and we don't want to leave this person alone. So what is the fine line? Just ask? Because I don't know, do you ask somebody, are you having a mental breakdown? Because I've had friends like that and I'm like, yeah.
What do you mean? I don't think I understand.
So as far as like saying, what was the thing? When are you going to try again? Or saying maybe it's too soon. We've talked about, me and you, Tiffany, have talked about like maybe when you are going through this journey, it almost becomes like an obsession or something like, I feel like I have something to prove, or I want to make sure that I do bring this child about that everybody keeps asking about. But when someone reaches out and says, hey, you think it's too soon? But they're genuinely concerned, do they just shut up? Because I'm
I
asking
think
because
there's a
I've been in
way.
that place.
I think there's a way to have that conversation. First of all, you have to think about the relationship, the terms of the relationship. If you don't have a relationship with somebody and you just see them on Sundays and Wednesdays, or you just see them at work or something, then that's not a question that I'm even going to entertain.
Right.
So let's say, for example, you ask me that question. I'm saying, oh, I'm ready, and you see me spiraling. I think that's a relevant question to ask. I wouldn't just say, mental health check-in or anything like that.
Yeah.
Have you talked to your doctor? Maybe
Right.
have you, just talked through with your husband how this will look, and just kind of getting my emotions in the way that I'm gonna really think it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said something important, the relationship, because we have I'm thinking of a particular situation with a church member, and we have, how you have like your church group, but then you have like your inner circle of church people that you do life with, is the term they use at the church I go to. So I'm thinking like within there, like it would be different if it came from someone that was outside of that inner circle. Like it's really nobody's business, but I don't know, I've been in that place. You really think you're looking out for the well-being of that person. So that, yeah, I think it could just be rephrased probably.
And what Tiffany said, you can tell by the questions that person asks if it's coming from a place of like genuine concern. Like, I'm noticing picking up on some signs, like I just really want to check and make sure you're ready to go through this all over again, versus like, I think you might just be like trying too soon or just doing too much. You know what I mean? It's a difference between like really checking on somebody's mental health or well-being versus like just inserting your opinion.
So definitely context and tone play a part.
And the relationship. And then if you don't, because like I know people who are going through this that I'm not necessarily close with, like in that inner circle. So, but if I have a concern that I might be picking up on some things, I might reach out to somebody that is closer to them. Say, hey, like you might want to, like, have you noticed these things? Like, it might be good to like just check on her just to make sure she's okay. I don't think anything's wrong with that. It's all because the person that's going through it will receive it well if it's coming from a person that has that close relationship with them rather than not.
So definitely context, relationship, and tone or delivery. Okay, good. Yeah, I had to tease that one out some because that's been me. And I know in particular, some people that want this video, that's been them. And they mean well, but it just might not come out correctly. All right, number 9.
All right. This one, at least you have a child now and all of that's over and in the past. So this is one that I've struggled with a little bit since having Harper and then being with child now. People know the things that have happened in the past. I think they mean well to be like, oh, you know, you made it over, but like that's still not a territory like that's wise to touch on. Like it's, I don't even know what a better way to say that would be. Maybe it's not just like, I'm so glad that you
I'm trying to understand the context. Why would anyone, like if you express fear with a current pregnancy and they're like, that's silly to be scared?
More so like I remember after I had Harper,
Okay.
I was getting messages of people saying, oh, you know, you made it out.
Oh.
Like, I'm glad that she's here. You don't even have to worry about that stuff anymore. Or like with becoming pregnant now, same kind of thing. Oh, well, you know, you should be happy. Like, you don't even have to worry about that. Like, but you don't know what all happens and what goes on. Like, it never, because it's a loss. Like, it just doesn't, like, think about if you have a grandparent that you've lost, you don't forget about them. Like, you don't, the grieving process changes as time passes by, but you're never, like, you still miss them. Like, they're not, because they're not here anymore. So it's learning how to operate in the now from after going through all those things. So it doesn't, just because I have what I have now, it doesn't replace what happened. It doesn't make it go away. It's just learning how to operate in this new season, but it doesn't erase anything that happened.
And I can imagine,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I could imagine that just because one child is conceived and is delivered, you know, with no complications, it doesn't take away that fear that might come with other pregnancies. Like you probably still think about it, and maybe people think, well, she got over that hill or that hump, she's fine. But I'm sure it's something, even now, at how many weeks you are now, maybe still a fear of, okay, I don't feel him move as much, or what's going on, or you still, like you said, TMI, like checking as you go to the restaurant or whatever, just trying to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like always being on edge, but also feeling guilty sometimes. Like I have those moments where I feel guilty because I have, and I know many people that are still going through that journey, and it's struggling with that too.
Yeah. I think, oh, you said something, Chandler, that I was going to say. Oh, it also, that comment also takes away the can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but it takes away the feeling that you will have because this is an ongoing problem. You know what I mean? Like because people don't know, and they don't have to know, but because people don't know your underlying issues, they assume, oh, Harper's here, boom, she's great, she can have kids. Once she has one, you can have them, you know, pop them out like whatever. But that's not true. It's just not true. So,
and that's not true for any woman. I would go as far as say, just for one who does not have infertility issues, you just don't know. Legit, every pregnancy is different. Even with the same woman. So I feel like that's
something. And every pregnancy does something to your body. Like there's so many things that happen while you're pregnant, and especially in those first couple of months that, you know, they can't be the same. They can't be identical each pregnancy. So you just never know.
Yeah.
My aunt gave me a wise piece of advice after Grayson came by C-section. She said, just go ahead and get in your mind that nothing below your belt will ever be the same. And I was like, okay. Because you kind of go into this mode of like, nothing is the same. Oh my gosh. But every pregnancy, every birth, or any type of trauma that we go through, it never is the same.
Yep.
These men don't know what we're going through. Yes. All right.
Not at all.
Number 10.
Girl, I've had fill in the blank number of miscarriages before having fill in the blank number of kids, you'll be okay. And that's comforting. How? Yeah.
I think that's supposed to provide hope, I think. Maybe they're saying
Yeah,
like,
but
I made it. I don't know. I don't even know.
every woman's situation is
Mm.
different. And that honestly, even though like with all these sayings, I know that people mean well. This I know people really do mean well,
Huh.
but you are giving me a kind of hope that may not pan out. So, you know, when I lost Camden, somebody said this to me, and she was like, you know, I know a lot of people who lost their first baby and da 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 da. And so when I got pregnant with Jackson, I just knew in my mind, I reverted back to that. Nothing's gonna happen. Everything's gonna be fine for a minute, and then lost him too. So
almost a false hope type. Is that?
It does give a sense of false hope.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like people are saying that that's a rites of passage. Like it's normal to lose your first child, or you know whatever. It's normal to have miscarriages. Just keep on trucking.
I know. I remember an instance that I would say is a better way to, because I think people try to share their experiences or try to relate to say like, hey, I went through a situation and it's gonna be okay. Like God has you. I'm here for you. Like kind of opening up that door to say like, this is what happened to me. So if you need somebody to reach out to, I'm here. And I remember somebody that just shared with me their story, not to say, and it wasn't taken away from anything that I went through. They're just like, hey, I've never shared this with anyone before, but I want to share with you. And they shared it with me. And then that was it. It wasn't like it was a better way and I received it well versus like, oh, well, you know, I lost my child. This is a story that happened. But look, I got 3 kids now. They didn't even have to say that. That was already known because I know that they have 3 kids, but them just opening up and being vulnerable with me and sharing that story that they hadn't shared with many people before was a way to open that door. So I knew later down the line, oh, okay, I remember when she told me that she had a situation. Okay, but like it helps you to remember those people without them just coming out and saying it. I feel like that's a better way than just saying, oh, well, you know, I had this and this happen. You'll be all right. It's a better way to say that.
And for me, it just created extra anxiety of like getting to that Harper or getting to that, you know what I mean? It's created more anxiety. It's created this obsession, like I was talking to Taylor about, that I'm still working on because I know that people say, oh, well, you know, it'll happen. And meanwhile, I'm like, okay.
Right.
But you know.
Well, this is good, really good. And I'm looking at, I don't remember this timer coming up, but we got 6 minutes and 47 seconds. I don't remember the other 2 episodes. So I guess Zoom was like, no, you didn't use this too much. And I'm about to cut you off.
Tired of you going over.
So yeah, right. But I want to thank you both for sharing and being transparent. Keep the inbox messages coming, keep the comments coming. That lets these ladies know that they are doing a good job. And I would say to share your story with others. I feel like more things like this needs to happen. So whether that's just one-on-one talks and you're going up to the people that you're close to, or you know somebody that's struggling. I know these ladies talk about different ones who reached out to them who were strangers or family and friends. But I feel like that if it's done correctly, make sure you listen to this video first, that it will go well. And if you don't listen to this video, just Google it. Like, it's lists out there to tell you what not to say. Google is my best friend and my Nana's best friend, and we use it all the time. So just Google. But thank you both for sharing your story. Make sure you follow these ladies on social media. Butterfly Conversations is a blog that Tiffany has that is talking about her journey. So if you want to hear more about her journey and follow her, and we're speaking into existence great things for her. So make sure you follow Butterfly Connections. Chandler has Hope in June that she says she will reactivate, and that is a video blog, so a vlog. Make sure you follow her. She is still in the midst of her journey with child now, so make sure you follow her on social media as well. Any last comments that you guys want to say to maybe a woman experiencing this? These are things you want to say. We're done with the what not to say. Any words of encouragement you could give? Because y'all are still in this. It's not like this is 20 plus years later and you're like, well, I'm done with all the child stuff. No, you're in the heat of it. So any encouragement you could lend before Zoom cuts us off? We got 4 minutes.
For me, I'll say, because I am still in it, actively trying to get pregnant, just allow God to take over the process. And Taylor, I've talked to you, about tracking this and that, and test strips and doing it, and basal body temp, all that stuff. Guess what? None of that existed years ago when people were trying to, like, I'm talking to myself here, but if you can take out the anxiety and trying and just let it happen, your mind would be a lot more clear at the end of the day.
Well, true.
I would say this is something that my grandmother told my mom some years back. Take the good and leave the bad. So that's with any situation, whether you are, trying to find a new doctor, or you have one that's not great, or you have one of these people that says the wrong thing. No, they mean well. Just take the good and leave the bad. And I think if you approach every single situation with that attitude, it's going to help you to keep yourself to motivated to keep going. Because at the end of the day, you're alone with your own thoughts, and it can be tough, but just take the good, leave the bad.
All right, great advice. I have a journal, it's full, and we're good to go. So thank you, ladies, both. You all have a great evening, and hopefully we'll bring you guys back in October to highlight some more, because it's different. I would like to hear from your spouse's perspective and the family and friends who support you, their perspective. So hopefully we could do this again. Hey, you're fine.
It's a random child on my porch making my dog bark. So
you're about to get violent, y'all. This is what I'm talking about.
I'm not violent. I just want to tell the little girl, stay off of private property here.
I can't stand that either. Yeah, I run people out my yard. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Lamar says this is what you get living in the neighborhood. No, get out my yard.
No, this is what you get when kids are not properly
trained.
Supervised. Yes,
supervised,
come on now.
Yeah, the sun's about to go down. Well, it's summertime. Like that. They need to be getting ready for school, but that's all right.
Well, y'all down there now. I'm gonna let her know.
I told y'all she could get violent, but
not violent.
We'll cut. So y'all have a good evening, and thank you again. And we hope to have you back. Make sure you subscribe to More to Life. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.